Hello, everybody. How you doing? My name is DOCTORSAMMY BAYA. Please welcome back to my channel. So this is a live stream about how to spot narcissistic abuse. So we are tackling how to spot narcissistic abuse. Now, so we are going to discuss how to spot narcissistic abuse. That is going to be the title of this episode, this live stream. Now, please welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this live stream and you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please, I request you to subscribe. Please hit that subscribe button. Thank you. God bless you. Now, how do you spot narcissistic abuse? How do you spot narcissistic abuse? Now, I think the big question we should start by asking ourselves is, what is narcissistic abuse? What is narcissistic abuse? When we talk of narcissistic abuse, what comes to our mind is the word narcissist. When you talk of a narcissist, what comes to our mind, what comes to our head is the word manipulation. Now, narcissist is all about manipulation. It's all about controlling the other person. It is a form of relating with another person, whereby one person tries to demean, tries to manipulate, tries to control the other person. That is what narcissism is all about. Now, the control can be direct, or it can be, explicit, or the control can be hidden. But with narcissism, is all about control. The main aim of a narcissist is to keep their partner dependent on them. The narcissist wants to be praised all the time. So when you talk about narcissistic abuse, as we've said, it's all about control. It's all about manipulation. And it's also all about gaslighting. When you confront your partner, when you confront a narcissistic partner about their behavior, about their narcissistic behaviors, they'll flip the situation. They'll blame shift things and start blaming you. You've pointed out the wrongdoings that your partner is doing on you. They'll change the situations and they'll start blaming you. You, the victim, becomes the one to be blamed for whatever was abusive. If you blame the narcissist for abusing you, they'll blame you for abusing them. That's called blame shifting. They flip the situation, in short, and it becomes you being the problem. So when this kind of thing happens repeatedly, when the narcissist keeps flipping the situations and blaming you, you, the victim, will begin to question your own self-worth. You will start questioning the reality. You will start questioning your intuition. And that is what we mean by gaslighting. See, the narcissist's aim is to isolate you, to make you feel isolated, to make you feel alone, to make you feel scared and afraid. Now, sometimes the narcissistic abuse will go physical. Sometimes it's all about controlling your money, controlling your time, controlling your friendships, your opinions. They control what you think, how you think. They will call you a liar. The narcissist will call you all sort of names. So, narcissistic abuse can become a syndrome in a situation whereby you get abused so much, you get demeaned by the narcissist so much, to an extent that you start thinking and feeling and believing that you deserve to be abused. Sometimes you begin thinking that your narcissistic abuser is right, even when they are lying to you. You tend to agree with the abuser, the narcissistic abuser, in everything. So, what are the warning signs to look out for if you want to know if you are in a narcissistic abuse? How do you spot a narcissistic abuse? Number one is about controlling behavior. The number one way of finding out if you're in a narcissistic abusive relationship is the word control. Any narcissist will always exhibit signs of controlling. You might start thinking that they only want to control your time, your attention. But the narcissist is never satisfied. They'll want more. They'll demand more. They'll want you to participate in activities that are only pleasing to them, or activities that only benefit them. Some controlling behaviors by the narcissist might appear to be hidden, not so explicit. But one thing about those controlling behaviors, they're persistent. A narcissist will lie to you, they will cheat on you, they will withhold information to get their way repeatedly. When a narcissist is controlling you, to them that is power. Narcissistic abusers are self-aggrandizing. They are self-centered. And that is another thing to spot narcissistic abuse. They're always self-centered, selfish people. The narcissist manipulates you into giving them an excessive amount of attention. We say that the narcissist needs attention from you. They want praise from you. They want to be, they want attention from you at all costs. They might even be violent to get attention. They will intimidate you. They don't care who they step onto, so long as they get the attention they need. Now, narcissists have unpredictable mood swings. 1 minute they are happy, they are jovial. The next minute they are all sad and blue. In short, their moods are unpredictable. They have mood swings. You cannot read the narcissist easily because of these unpredictable mood swings. But one thing for sure, if you are in a narcissistic abusive relationship, you'll realize that your partner is self-focused. Then the third way of spotting a narcissistic abusive relationship is where we have gaslighting. Gaslighting is all about manipulation. When you say someone is gaslighting you, is that someone is making you question your reality. A narcissist may pretend that they've forgotten something that happened, an incident, or they may even deny knowing about a situation to which they were part of. They'll put doubts in your memories. What the narcissist wants is to remain in a powerful position. The narcissist gaslights you to make you feel like your own judgment or your own memory is unreliable. Now, the other way of spotting a narcissistic abusive relationship is what we call isolation. They will isolate you. The narcissist will isolate their partners. They will make sure you have no support system. They isolate you from your support system. And when you talk about support system, we talk about relatives, some friends, your social networks. The narcissist makes themselves the main source of affection. They make themselves the main support system that you will have. They make themselves the only source of validation. So the narcissist isolates you to control you. They will isolate you and make sure that you don't spend time with your loved ones. They'll isolate you to make sure that you don't spend time with your friends. The narcissist will try to talk negatively about your support system. They'll try to talk negatively about your friends, about your relatives. No. Their main aim is to put doubts, to break that trust between you and your friends or your relatives. So when you're used to being controlled by the narcissist, it becomes so difficult to know how to behave around others. So the narcissist will also try to be abusive by creating mistrust for those outside that relationship. The narcissist wants to be the only person you trust. The narcissist will stalk you. They will even create some fake Facebook profiles or Instagram profiles, send you friend requests so that they can interact with you online to find out how loyal you are. So it's all about digital privacy. And this is one of the many controlling behaviors that the narcissist uses to ensure that the victim of the narcissist is fully dependent and compliant with the narcissist. Then you cannot talk about a narcissistic abusive relationship without talking about verbal abuse. The narcissist will throw insults at you. They will abuse you verbally. They do this to make sure that their victims do not trust their own judgment. Verbal abuse is meant to belittle the other person. Verbal abuse is meant to degrade the other person. Sometimes it can be subtle, it can be direct. But these hurtful comments about a person's decisions or physical appearance sometimes are said disguised as positive encouragement, but that's a lie. They're meant to hurt their victims, to put them down, to insult them. In short, verbal abuse is emotional abuse. Narcissists will do name calling, they'll blame their victims, they'll yell at their victims, they'll do the silent treatment of their victims. Verbal abuse may not necessarily involve physically touching a person, but these interactions can still be very violent. You see, the narcissist believes they are superior than everybody else. When they bully others, when they harass others, they feel entitled to that. They justify those cruel, sadistic things they do. Another way of spotting narcissistic abuse is through the threats of physical violence. Narcissistic abuse, yes, it will focus on emotional manipulation, but commonly you still see narcissistic relationships, narcissistic abusive relationships characterized by breaking things, hurting others, or threatening to hurt others, inflicting self-harm, to punish others, or threatening, instilling fear in their partners. And we know that the narcissist, what they want most is they want attention. So when the narcissist realizes that the manipulation is not working, then they will begin getting more aggressive, they'll get more coercive. So you'll see violent outbursts in narcissistic abusive relationships. You will see threats in narcissistic abusive relationships. There'll be lots of scary episodes in a narcissistic abusive relationship. In a narcissistic abusive relationship. So hoovering is also a common thing in narcissistic abusive relationships. When you talk about hoovering, what comes to your mind is emotional blackmail. That is very common among narcissistic abusers. When a narcissist feels that they are starting to lose control, they may go through a cycle of trying to make things better. They'll do everything to try and make things better. Now, when the narcissist gets back the victim's trust, when they win back the victim's trust, then they start again the cycle of social isolation, control, gaslighting, manipulation, threatening the victim, verbal abuse, digital invasions of privacy of the victim, creating mistrust for those outside the relationship with the victim. So that is common with narcissists. So the other way you can spot narcissistic abusive relationship, you will realize that there is the disregarding of boundaries. Victims of narcissistic abuse find it very difficult to make independent choices, to make independent decisions, especially concerning anything that involves physical separation. It's very common to hear of victims of narcissistic abusive relationships saying that the narcissists read their journals, the narcissists read their diaries, their emails, and so on. So the other way of supporting a narcissistic abusive relationship is instilling fear of negative reactions from the narcissist. A narcissist will enjoy very much when their victims display fear and anxiety, because this is what the narcissist uses to get what they want. When the victim of the narcissist is afraid of the narcissist, then the narcissist is happy. So when the narcissist sees that the victim is indecisive, the victim is fearful of making the wrong moves. The victim is afraid of overstepping boundaries that are set by the narcissist. The narcissist is happy because this is what they want. They want to instill fear of negative reactions. So some narcissists, or research says that some narcissism comes from guilt or the shame that one got from childhood experiences. And that's why you find people trying to become people pleasers. The narcissistic abusers may volunteer to do certain activities or to get involved in certain situations only to impress others. Then another thing that characterizes narcissistic abusive relationships is censorship. When you're in a narcissistic relationship, you feel like you're walking, the victim of a narcissist feels like they're walking on eggshells. And the reason for this is because the victim of the narcissist is trying to satisfy or to appease the narcissist. So they try to think and imagine how the narcissist will react. Then the other thing that characterizes narcissistic abusive relationships is excuses for bad behavior. A narcissist does not take criticism lightly. So anybody who has been a victim of narcissism for a long time, they find themselves giving excuses for the bad behavior of the narcissist. Because we know narcissists don't take criticism lightly. And the narcissist will train their victims to, to try and do the blocking for their bad behavior. You see, when you talk bad about a narcissist, the person who's suffering under the hands of the narcissist, some of them try to protect the narcissist. They'll say that's how the narcissist is. So another way of spotting a narcissistic abusive relationship is that there's a history of abuse in past relationships. When you look at a narcissist, you realize that in all their relationships, there's that history of abuse. Even the victim of a narcissist, when you look at the past relationships of that victim of a narcissist, you realize that there's also abuse. This person was used to being abused. So how do you deal with these narcissistic abusive relationships? Yes, it is possible for a narcissist to get treatment on that narcissism, but it is rare. Because a narcissist believes they're perfect. They believe they have nothing, there's nothing wrong with them. So because of this reason, it's very difficult for a narcissist to seek treatment. They think there's nothing wrong with their behavior. The only reason that will make a narcissist get treatment is when they're required to do so. So, recovering from toxic relationships takes time. Because after such kind of a relationship, a narcissistic relationship, a toxic relationship, everyone appears to be threatened. When you've gone through a narcissistic relationship, most likely the victim of the narcissist has been isolated from everybody. They've been isolated from their friends, from their relatives, from those people who are what we call their support system. This is the support system that could help the victim recover from that narcissistic abusive relationship. So if you're a victim of a narcissist, sometimes you need to start afresh. Falling in love with a narcissist is easy, but staying in love with a narcissist is not easy. The first step is when you discover that your narcissist is a narcissist. Once you realize that your partner is a narcissist, that is a good way to start. Then get as much knowledge as you can about narcissism. Just remember this: healing from narcissistic abuse starts with rebuilding your self-identity, having a self-care routine, and establishing personal boundaries that will protect your mental and physical well-being. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've learned something. Please, whatever you learned in this video, share it with others. You can drop your comment. Tell us what you think about narcissistic abuse. How do you spot a narcissistic abuse? Please tell us the other points that I've not mentioned in this video. Thank you. God bless you. Catch you later in the next live stream.